Hello everybody, this is Legal Senpai. I hope you're doing well. So this year has been a year. Hey Steven, what's up man? So this year started off like last year with some terrible plague happening to me, and I decided, you know, it'd be fun this year is to make this year a year of anime. I decided to watch a whole fuck ton of anime because I haven't really in the past few years watched other shows, and I thought this would be fun. I wasn't really driven by anything in particular other than just things that caught my eye. People recommended stuff, I ignored them, or maybe I didn't. It really just depends what I was feeling. Steven, are you off today? But anyways, I decided to start recording all these. My thoughts, I've tweeted about pretty much all of them. And I wanted to learn how to make an actual video to do this, but I am lazy, and I didn't do that. So, by the end of the year, so maybe that'll be a goal next year. That could be fun. Oh, you worked there, great. Why is Gundam? Because I haven't watched Gundam this year. This is what I've watched this year. And Gundam wouldn't be up there. Maybe. Actually, I heard Hathaway is really good, but I haven't got to it. So you're going to be doing the New Year's at work. So anyways, I decided I will make this list. My categories are dumb. Wait, why not what? So my categories are legendary, which I think are phenomenal. If you're not anime fan, doesn't matter. These are masterpieces. They should be watched. They are, you know, outstanding in this field for art, music, everything. Great, just great overall shows. Not anime grades, because as you see, I have things that are they anime? Aren't they anime? I don't know. I'm not. I don't care about arguing it. They're animated. They're good. They're great. So I'm gonna throw them there. But there is one or two that definitely transcend to legendary. Forgettable, of course, is shows I forgot or I think will be forgotten. And just, yeah, they're just standard run of the mill. Okay, I saw it. And then gave up on And Terrible, which is one show, and that's it. I've also included a movie I saw last year in theaters at the tail end of the year, which then came out dubbed this year, along with the Japanese version. But I figured I'd throw it in here because it's fun. It makes it a nice 25. Is Darling in the Franxx #1? No, but it could be. It's very arguable. It's beautiful. So I'm just gonna go in order. Actually, that's not fair. Where should I search, Steven? Should I go by picture order? Which I thought my thumbnails are phenomenal. Well, good thing it's my opinion, not yours. So Where to start? Picture order. All right. Well, this is gonna be heavily stacked. I don't know. I think getting further along will be interesting. So, starting Attack on Titan. I saw season 1 many years ago now. Never saw... okay. So I saw Attack on Titan season 1 many years ago. Didn't see 2 or 3 when it came out, and I figured, well, with season 4 airing dubbed at the same time, now is a good time to rewatch all season 1 and just keep going. Because if I start a show in some language, I need to keep going. And yeah, so I started that with Attack on Titan. And even though people had problems with season 2, I guess when it came out, because it wasn't that long, Attack on Titan is a legendary show. It's not even a question. Music, story, everything coming together is beautiful. The emotion's great. Acting's great. It's a phenomenal show. I have no idea how the twist, quote twist, was never spoiled for me or other people who have yet to see it. Right now, it is bonkers how great that show is. Or not this show. On top of that, Suwano and the soundtrack is so fucking killer. I've listened to it ad nauseum. It's great. And I'm very excited to see how it sticks to the landing. It's definitely an anime show, though, as opposed to, like, manga for me. Because, one, apparently they added more to the manga at the end and whatever. And what sucks is trying to avoid spoilers for manga readers because they're like, oh, well, they changed this. There's just something. I don't want to hear anything. And I had one thing spoiled about someone who lives. And that's all I know. And that's even too much, but whatever. It's great. I have no idea how a lot of it was unspoiled. And dear God, it's good. I never saw Dragon Maid. These are things I've seen, and plus, I don't like maids. But I don't know. There's other shows I meant to watch, but never get around to it. Next up, since I'm just going in picture order, is Arcane. Arcane. Oh, I should have added one more category. Oh, whatever. Arcane. Even though it has a recency bias for me, and the fact that I play League off and on, and I'm playing through the League of Legends Ruin King game, which is actually really fucking good. And it's criminal that they undermarketed. It's legendary tier. Is it anime? That's the thing. Is it an anime? Because it's animated, but it's 3D. It's cel shaded. It has an art. Whatever. Whatever, man. It doesn't matter. It's great. It's a legendary show. Beyond tons of people and the scores, I'm not caring about the amorphous day. People have recommended it who have no interest in League, along with the infamous day of miscellaneous people who have never played League or care about it at all. The show has no right to be that good, and the reason why it is that good is because great art direction, great music, and they focused on such few characters that it just grows perfectly. And everyone who's not in the fucking game, and even ones that are, but especially the ones that are just new to the show, are beautiful, fleshed out. And Silco is one of my favorite characters. He's great. And also killer soundtrack, especially at pivotal points. There is a scene I don't know, in episode 6 or 7, that there's a song called Dynasties in Dystopia that kicks off before a fight, and it's so good that it should get awards. I mean, the ending's great too, and it's all great, and leading in the next season, wow, perfect. Definitely legendary tier, and beyond recency bias. It's, as my friend Sarge said, which is kind of weird out of context, if you're watching, like, episode 3 or whatever, Powder's crying and, like, losing her mind is something done so perfectly and beautiful, which is weird because you're talking about, somebody crying. But it's so, like, you've never seen it, not just animated like that, acted like that. It's amazing on that alone, which is still weird to say, but it's still great. As far as downsides for either show, for Attack on Titan or that, I can't think of any. What I like more, Attack on Titan, and it's wrapping up starting, I don't know, in a few weeks. And considering how every bit of the story has just come around, and I've faith it'll stick the landing. And if not, well, whatever. I've had a good ride so far, and the music is always great. Next up on this will be interesting. Batman: The Long Halloween. I'm just going to put this here for now. Batman: The Long Halloween is 2 movies, and I waited till both were out to watch them. Despite the after credit scene of the first movie directly ties in the second, clearly, and it wanted you to skip it, kind of. It's really weird. It's phenomenal. Great story. It's long. It's like 4 hours and change. It's very... I think it's 4 hours and change. It's very, very brutal. Great. It's a great Batman story. It's a great Catwoman story. It reminds me of... Shit, what was the one you recommended me? Fuck, I think I watched that this year too. Not Carnival Phantasm, oh my god. Mask of the Phantasm. I think I watched that this year too, and I didn't include it. Fuck. It reminds me of Mask of the Phantasm, especially with more recent DC stuff. That I didn't like. There was like the World War I one, which was okay. I never saw Injustice because I heard its ass. Just because I like the game, and it's just condensed. When you have something that you could just make it longer and flesh out characters, especially something with Injustice, I think would have made sense. But it's it reminded me a lot of Mask of the Phantasm in terms of quality, quantity. It's anything fleshed out like that's great. I love Batman, but do I put it up to a legendary tier? Is it like that? Because I loved it, and I've recommended it to people. It's great. I don't know if I would put it to legendary, because what stands out for me, like Attack on Titan and Arcane, is like music and style. Long Halloween has style. It has no music, but also if you'd have music, like banger music in a Batman thing like that, that'd be weird. I don't know if it's the best Batman story, but it's pretty close if it's not. It's really good. Mask of the Phantasm's awesome. And then the fact that they haven't really used that villain. I mean, like, I guess they did this year or maybe last year. But, like, that was the only time since that movie. And it's really good. So, does it go to Legendary? And so that's why, like, I have a great and non-anime great, because, whatever. See, that's the thing. I don't think it hits, like, the same, like, Legendary tier. Like I've rewatched stuff of Arcane. I've rewatched stuff of Attack on Titan. Have I wanted to rewatch anything for Batman? No. So that'll be that. So that'll go in the non-anime grades. It's not Legendary tier. It's definitely not forgettable. It's not terrible. So there you go. So these are essentially the same tier, because I am unimaginative and I can think of anything. So yeah. Next up is Beastars. Beastars is Zootopia, but add racism, sex, class, and make it adult. Oops, mic peaked. Beastars is phenomenal. There's Giga videos and other videos of saying if it'll turn you into a furry, and it's kind of true. I don't know. It's a great story. It's really grounded in a few characters, but dealing with really interesting issues and society divides. Yeah, go to nap. Go nap. I'll have this VOD. I might actually break this out into a YouTube video, which would be a first for me. So maybe I'll figure that out. So have a good at work. Just text me, whatever. Yeah. What is the differentiation between legendary and great? For me, something that really sticks with you. You want to keep going on, clearly. And oh, I should have made a thing of shows I wish I got to. And I mean, music is such a big deal for me, along with acting. But acting for Beastars is great. The story is great. Animation is great. The intro, videos, or not videos. The intro for shows is something I generally skip over. Like I maybe see it once, then I'll just skip. Beastars is awesome, and you should totally watch. It's very, very good. But it's, and I'd bring it up now, except I don't know how to do that with the way I set up my stream. So, is it legendary? I don't think so. It could be when the story's all told. Right now, they're doing one final season, which will probably be a long season considering the manga. I don't think it's still going, but it's a lot longer than what's out. It's pretty fucking great, and it has a potential to ascend. But watching both this year was really fucking good. And I'm gonna tier these along here for what I think is like better. But for me, Beastars, it's great. It could possibly get a legendary eventually when it's all said and done, but it's not. Next up is Bofuri. Bofuri, it's good. It's kind of forgettable, and I've forgotten many times this year I've watched it. Bofuri, it's a girl who just wants to live and have up to her defense in the VR game world. It's really funny. It's really cute. It's pretty chill. It was definitely something I watched toward the end of January, so toward the beginning of all this of last year, that I forgot I watched many times. And I don't know why, because it's really cute and really funny, and I liked it. But does it stand out at all? No. I mean, kind of. The characters are really endearing, and I've said cute and funny a lot, but that's really what the show is. It's just kind of a nice chill show. That's what I should put in the category. A nice chill show. It was relaxing. It was fun watching. I ended up binging it, but that was because like I was going through like shingle pain stuff. But it was nice. It was fun. Is it forgettable? Kind of. I don't want to put nice and forgettable in the same thing. Wait, can I change this? Nice. No, nice, forgettable. Nah, I'm just gonna leave that. In okay. / forgettable. Never mind. I'm putting it there. Like I said, I forgot I watched it. Next up. I mean, Castlevania is great. But it's legendary. Castlevania wrapped up this year. They've announced that they're doing a new thing after Time Jump. It had a JoJo ending, which we didn't know what that meant at the time. But it ended phenomenally. It was very satisfying. Fight with death was kind of weird. I really fucking enjoyed it. In a year where I watched quite a bit of Netflix stuff from what I normally do, it was pretty stellar. And it's also a thing of, is this an anime? Yeah, I think it is. It's done in a style. It's like, if you make a JRPG, right, and it's not in Japan, but it's modeled after that style, well, then it's a JRPG. I think. I think a lot of that stuff is more style than where it's made. But what do I know? I don't know. I'm just a dude giving an opinion. I don't really care. I had fun. It's a pretty great series. Does it go to Legendary? No, it doesn't hit those other 2 tiers for me. But I can totally see if you were a really big fan of the Castlevania games, it would. I mean, they did such a great service to not just video game lore and characters. It really is a piece of work in the literal great sense. Oh, hello. So that's my opinions on that. It's really, I don't have any criteria for what goes between what tier. For me, it's just how I felt in the time. It was a fun year. Doing this, just watching a fuck ton of anime when I normally haven't, hello, is something that for me was very enjoyable, catching up and watching a whole bunch of anime I never saw. Things that were airing now. And this is more of a cathartic, like, end of the year cap for me doing this. And you know what? I'm going to still probably do this next year. Hello, Big Island. Sepis XX. So, but I've come to notice a lot of what difference for me goes between Legendary Great, music, and overall just how I feel. But these, I mean, they're all fun. And pretty special. It's talking about something pretty special for me. I mean, it's not even a question. Darling in the Franxx for me is legendary. Darling in the Franxx is so much more than mech anime, and all my friends are wrong. Characters 02 and what they go through in the show really speaks to me. Not just, oh, it's a sexy show. All right, cool. A lot of it's about fighting against stagnation, going over monotony, and there's a pretty deep environmental message, which I think a lot of people just overlook all that, and they're just like, oh, it's a robot show. It's like, it's really not. And for Studio Trigger, just watching anything, it's like, clearly there's gonna be fucking aliens. But I also have the privilege of watching it when it's all out and not while it's airing. So there's that. This is the first show that I've actually bought merch for. Not just first-hand or second-hand. Because it really... Actually, I don't know if that's true. Is it? Because it's not like I haven't liked other anime in the past years. I don't know. I love the end. But you know what? Only because it wraps up the theme of... It's a lot of it, because the show's like adults, everyone's just kind of monotonous, and you're going into monotony, and that's the whole point of the aliens, fine. But the end is showing the promise you made to Ichigo, like, oh, I'll come back. It's a promise that you make to somebody that you can't keep, and you both know you can't keep it, and it's just heartbreaking, and I love that. And I can't remember what the word for that is, and it's driving me crazy. But then they made the manga, and the manga ending is different, and the manga also has lots of porn, and he did that intentionally, and who knows when that comes out in the West next year, and 2 anthologies, if they will keep all that, because holy shit. Like, it's a lot. Which I'm not saying is bad or good, it's what it is. But Darling in the Franxx for me, I fucking love it. And I also had fun getting these thumbnails. So yeah. I can't wait to talk about JoJo. Oh my god. That was months of my life. But for me, it's legendary. Is it better than Arcane? Oh, also, this is a show where, again, the music, big thing for me. I always skip over intros and endings, and I loved all the intros for this. Is it better than Arcane? I mean, for me, yes. Overall, no. Maybe. I don't know. I want to say yes because the story's complete. Arcane's a banger. And again, is it an anime? I don't know. I'm just a dude giving my thoughts. Other people can talk about it. Now here is my controversial opinion that I will... So do I. if they ever did a season 2 for Darling in the Franxx, I totally agree, because it showed like whether or not you believe in reincarnation or that's them. Like, of course you want to see like that, but how could you ever have like a drama or something? Then again, I don't watch slice of life stuff really, so maybe you can do that. I agree, that would have been great. But oh well. I mean, I know the manga ending's different, but yeah. What was it like? I think it was episode 14, 16, like all that stuff when it started getting a lot darker, and Zero Two Remember, Darling, and all that jazz. It just like all of that stuff really hit me, and the themes really resonated with me, because just pushing through just stagnation, just being complacent is a big thing. Because a lot of people, even people like, not just myself, but people I've met are just like, yeah, no, they're just kind of doing our thing. We're fine with that. I'm like, yeah, but you should want to do more. Like me learning how to actually edit videos, because I could have done that. Now, here's my controversial opinion out of all this list. Demon Slayer is great. I mean, no shit. I don't think it's I just don't think it's legendary for me yet. Music's great, art style's great, it's beautiful. The story for me, it's still just, I'd consider it's just a standard. It's not a standard anime. That's kind of weird to say. It's everything it does very well and beautifully. None of it stands out as some epic masterpiece that's unique yet for me. I don't know. Watched all season 1. Watched the movie. I didn't cry in it like I know some other people did. Darling in the Franxx, I was just depressed for a while. Attack on Titan, some parts of it, but I got to watch all of that this year. Arcane, I mean, yeah, there's some heartbreak things too. Never really felt any of that watching. Maybe a little Beastars, I don't know. Castlevania, you know, was super hype, but Demon Slayer. Yeah, see, that's my thing, right? I think it's just kind of, it's normal. It's normal. I don't know, like it nothing it does stands out as like, here's an interesting take on a story. Okay, you got a demon hunter slaying demons, and they were people. Oh man, you got a demon that helps people. But there is two things I can say. One, clearly, I never, like, I had a, you know, anime waifus, quote unquote, that I've really liked before. I've never fell in love with one until like 02, and that's why I like her everywhere, because I love her dearly. The other thing is, I've never thought I'd be like, oh, there's Rule 34 and stuff of someone I wouldn't want to see. That's not true now. It's Nezuko. Nah, you don't do that, man. And it's so weird, because I'm not like that kind of person, like anime or just normal shows. But this, I'm like, nah. But yeah, it's really good. It's solid on my list. It's better than Castlevania. That and Beastars though. Beastars is really good, and both are incomplete. So there. Next one is one that I think I'll take the credit for. I personally willed this into existence. They're doing a second season, Devil's a Part-Timer, which I think is just kind of forgettable. It's pretty solid. It's a good show, which I should have just made a tier, and I'm too lazy to actually do that. Devil Part-Timer for me was one crazy concept. It was very funny. It was very good. And I can't believe it got a second season. It was like a week after I watched it. I'm like, you know, and I was like tweeting about it. I'm like, man, that's a pretty solid show. I really enjoyed it. And then, and I think I even said I wish there was more, because I want to know more. So maybe it's not forgettable then. I should change this. Solid show / forgettable. Oh no. There we go. Yeah, I know. It's the reverse isekai. With a really funny concept that I just liked. I'm like, what? That I don't know. It was fun. Like both Fury and Devil's Part Timer for me were just super fun and just pretty chill. And what's funny is both of those were more toward the beginning of my year, and from recommendations, and they were fun shows. And I know both are getting a second season. Yeah, that'd be interesting. See, I understand when you don't know why you don't like something or it doesn't really gel with you, and I'll get there because there's only one show and I gave up on terrible shows. Actually, no, that's not true. 'Cause now that I made Solid Show, oh, we'll get there. But I can see why someone wouldn't like Devil as a part-timer, and I guess it's the reverse isekai slash I guess slice life. I don't go after slice life like main shows, except like I loved Love Hina and shit like that. But yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like I remember watching some things years ago. Like for me, I love Sword Art. I watched all of it years ago, except for War of Underworld, which I'm going to rewatch all of it before I watch that. And I know some of it's trash, but you know what? It's fine. It's fun. I like it. And that's what matters. As long as you're having fun, who cares? That's why I am in the severe minority opinion among friend groups, but not people. I'm Darling and Franks, and I love it, and it's beautiful. So next is something that is not an anime. Asterisk, maybe. That's Dota. Blood Dragon. I don't play Dota. Actually, I played, I don't know, like a few hours of Dota years ago. I play League and other stuff. Dota, for some reason, always made me motion sick. Didn't like the way it went because I got into that stuff with League. But I decided to watch the anime. Is it an anime? I don't know. On a whim, and I really enjoyed it. It's not anything groundbreaking or special. It's just a standard, here's a fantasy thing with characters you would know if you played the game. I knew Minerva. I know Zeus. Except Zeus is in it. Who else is in it from that I know in Dota? I don't know. But overall, it was a pretty solid story. I actually, that and something else in here that I watched were just it's from Netflix. I don't know. I'll get to it. Was yeah, they were good. They were solid. It doesn't do anything groundbreaking. Actually, you know what? This goes down to the Solid Show. I mean, yeah, it's not great. But I really liked it. It was solid. I can't define the difference of either of those. Something that was also just, for me, between great and solid, so I'll throw it. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to fluctuate that for a while. Is the Evangelion movies. I watched Eva growing up. I'll never forget watching, or where I watched End of Evangelion. It was on a plane in a car on a little tiny screen, coming back from an airport. And I've never saw any of the movies until Amazon put them all out when 3.0 plus 1.0 came out. In the same week, I watched them all. And even though Eva spawned a lot of great shows, especially Darling in the Franxx, because clearly it's inspired by it, the movies for me got progressively better as it went on. But the first movie, and again, this is all my opinion, so I don't really give a shit. The first movie is terrible because it really relies on you knowing the anime, which is, okay. But just standalone movie, especially somebody who hasn't seen it in a while, I'm like, what the like? There's no character development. It's just jumping, scene, 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 scene. You have people just yelling, and there's passage of time in the movie that is not really represented because it's not that long. The second movie, kind of the same deal, but it gets more on its own. And then the third and fourth really shine. And I know there's a giant time gap of when those came out. And you could definitely see it for the fourth movie, for 3.0 plus 1.0, because the movie's longer, characters are fleshed out more. It's my favorite movie, and I think the ending's very good. Beyond them saying, like, every universe is fine and coming to terms with feelings and all this other shit. I like how the new characters are interesting, and that it's become a joke among friends of, he's not at zero. He's so close to infinity that we couldn't see it or something. And Eva is summed up by big boobs and glasses. And that is a beautiful line, which I agree with. And it's just funny. Especially considering when people have asked before, like, oh, what do the crosses mean? Like, what are these Evas? What's this? And it's like, and what was it? The director was like, I just thought it was cool. Well, you said big boobs and glasses. So that's the thing. I think the last two movies are significantly better than the first two, as represented by time and when it came out, especially because the fourth one you learned a lot and it's very spaced out. And I think I should put two different things, because I think those two movies are great. The first movie I don't think is good at all. The second one's solid. And if only I had a tier in between here, which would represent that. But considering at least 50% of it I think is great, I'll put it in great. And I recognize Eva did a lot. The last movie is phenomenal. And at least it ended strong, because there's a lot of stuff that doesn't end strong. And I am, especially after a giant time gap of when it didn't come out, I think that it actually was beneficial. Next up is, which I'm including some movies I've seen, like in this as like a series. And the first one of this is Goblin Slayer, which is great. Goblin Slayer is great music, great characters. I never realized that the author of it has never names characters, I guess. And then I found out about the controversy of the first episode, and I like dark fantasy. I mean, I like Game of Thrones, so but that's everyone's standard basic bitch answer. But there's a lot of dark fantasy books that I really like that doesn't hold any punches when it comes to violence or sex or any of that shit. Because it's unrealistic that magically something would happen. That plus the fact he's just Doom Guy, but for goblins, is pretty great. Goblin Slayer, the movie, was also very good. It kind of feels like they toned it down, which is weird. I started reading the manga, and I've actually found the manga around where I am, but sporadic episodes. But that's more of where I live and how our manga sections are disorganized because people can't read who run those places. So would I put Goblin Slayer? Definitely above Eva. Just because I like the theming more, it goes above Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer's so good, though. They're both very good. Apparently, they also switch around two arcs from the manga for the anime, so that the first season ended really well. I know there's a second season coming. I don't know. All these three are so very close for me because they're just, I don't want to say solid shows, but there's a thing for that. They're very good. The time I got reincarnated, I never saw Slime. Feel free to sell me on it because none of my friends or brother have, because I was like, I don't care about slime people. I don't know. It just doesn't ring for me. I know nothing about it. Pass. Because there's so many shows I just have still to watch. But then I got caught up with life and other things. And one big one, which I will get to soon, which is JoJo. Um, I don't think in my heart I can put Goblin Slayer more than Demon Slayer, but I like them both a lot. And this is clearly a better show. It's better made. It's better music. But I love Goblin Slayer. I also love Castlevania, but is that anime? Who cares? I mean, I do, but whatever. The time, yeah. Really, feel free to sell me on it because I know not. That's the thing. I just saw him like slime. I'm like, okay, I guess I don't get it. But I like that. That's a show that I would. It's not even. I think it's gonna be bad or good. I have no idea. It's just as a premise. It's like okay. I don't know. Maybe it's just a title that turned me off. It's kind of like How to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, which is what's the mobile game called? I don't know. I can't remember. But I'm like, wow, what a really bad title. And then I watched the first season. I'm like, that's really good. So maybe it's that. I really need to watch it. God, what's my favorite anime? I need to go back and watch stuff I've seen before because I remember loving years ago, like Love Hina. I don't think I Yaoshi had a thing, but that was a manga, and I know that's Slice of Life because I have the manga when I went home and I was reading, and I'm like, damn, I like Slice of Life. But like I love Tenchi Muyo and shit like that. But they do all that. I love Fate, but I've seen all that. I was gonna start Emily's Case Files. But I just never, like the past week, but I just never got around to it. But feel free to sell me on Slime, because that is something I should check out next year. That'd be fun. So I saw Slime, I thought, yeah. It's so funny, because that is exactly what I have been told for many people, and I really should just check it out and at least give it a little bit, because I did that for a few shows, and one I will get to shortly. But no, feel free to keep selling Slime, because I need to check that out. This I saw last year. In theaters. It's toward the end of the year. It's a Fathom event. Came out this year, dubbed and Japanese. That is Heaven's Feel Part 3. Heaven's Feel Part 3 is a movie. It's great. It relies on you knowing Karno Kyokai, which that whole series was shattered for me because of somebody else, but I need to watch that. Heaven's Feel is very good. It wraps up that story very well. I didn't know that arc from the game at all. I mean, I love Fate, played Go a lot. Babylonia came out last year. I know there was Solomon came out this year, but in like Japan, so it's not out here yet. And I haven't watched the first part for Camelot yet for Fate Grand Order. I was going to over Christmas, and it just never happened. But animation, I mean, it's so good, right? Same company. It's very good. Ends beautifully. Music's killer. It has a fantastic final act. And it's not fair, like, these are series as a movie. And I watched it last year, of course. But it's not legendary. Even though there was parts of it I rewatched on that. So it's good. I'm going to put it better than Beastars. Okay, maybe I can't do that. I was super compelled with Beastars. But oh, definitely. That's why I'm I actually thought, because I played Grand Order quite a bit. I've been super lucky on pools recently. I'm pretty excited for the Guaranteed tonight and all that. But I'm going through Atlantis. The story only gets better for events, and Fate's special. Fate is something that's just, it's not that hard of a concept to get, but because there's so many different like iterations of it, it's hard to tell someone where to start. Which I know, like my brother included, he's a big Fate fan. There's you have people saying, "Oh, start with Zero or start with Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works," which I started there. But really, the concept is like it's a death battle with historical figures that are summoned. Okay, but then there's way more than that. But that's all you need to get someone interested. It'd be like, yeah. So what if I told you, there's a part of it where Napoleon Bonaparte shows up, who's actually a jack dude. You can fight, whoever the fuck. It doesn't matter. It's just interesting, and you have. Actually, I love that arc. But it's just the possibilities of all the stuff in Fate is really funny. I've been joking with people that the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth, will become a Fate that will become a Fate hero. Which I then went when we went through a rabbit hole of looking through was the last alive Fate character from the game, like modern. That doesn't count mythical or religious figures, whatever, right? And the last one is Nightingale, who died in like 1920 or 1910, and Queen Elizabeth was born in 1926. And I even included like book characters like when they came out, but no. But man, that'd be if Nightingale overlapped with Queen Elizabeth, I mean, come on, you can be like, look, it's happened. I mean, they lived together. It was the same period, and it doesn't count. What was it? Edison's like, I'm all U.S. presidents wrapped into one in a lion body. But still, Fate's great. It's really funny to try to get people into it because you can watch extras first, or you can watch Apocrypha. I like Apocrypha a lot. You can watch the Grand Order stuff, or just play Grand Order, or there's so many things, or the cooking game, or the cooking show, or just there's so many different avenues. And at its premise, it's like, hey, does this sound cool to you? Historical figures, different classes, all fighting, and the winner gets something with magic, kind of. Sure. All right. Well, there you go. All right, next is what I gave up on in Terrible, and that's High Rise Invasion. I tried watching that in November and kind of in December. I hated it. I thought the premise was like, oh, okay, it's another isekai death thing. And then I saw, they get teleported because they saw a tower. And this girl's brother calls, but then he apparently has no control over his mind, but he does. Oh, and everyone loses more clothes throughout the episodes, which that's fine. And for some reason they're all stuck on high towers, and they're not supposed to be able to kill people, but then they totally just kill people with like cannonballs and shit. So it kind of negates the whole premise. It's awful. I couldn't watch it. I hate giving up on shows. I hated it. And I kind of want to know how it ends. Because I can see why people would like it. It just goes against itself so many times for me. They're like, oh, well, these people they can't kill you. They're only to make you want to kill yourself and jump off buildings. But then they quite literally kill you. Or kill other players and stuff. And it's like, or players, whatever, you know what I mean? People. It's like, okay, well, that doesn't make sense, does it? I don't like it at all. And I think I want to have my own conspiracy theory of they know it's bad because they just lean into fan service, which great, sweet. Except it's not. I don't think it's that good, or worth it at all. Some more Darwin's game, maybe. I don't know. I just not like High Rise Invasion, and I tried repeatedly because I always like watch stuff like Ether. And I pay attention, but I just have no idea. it was just bad. I gave up on it. It's not good. No, not at all. But what is good? Invincible. Is it an anime? No. Is it great? Yes. Or maybe it is an anime. I don't know. I just put this thing here with an asterisk because reasons, and then I clearly just don't give a shit up here. Because Arcane's great. Invincible was something I know people who really love the comics. I started trying to read the comics after, and I kind of want to read through them. And there's like so many omnibuses. They're just like different sizes. And I don't know why, because there's like, it really feels like there's 4 different omnibuses for Invincible. I don't know. But the show itself surprised me a lot. It's very strong. It's very graphic, very good. And I'm happy they don't pull the punches. I know they changed some stuff from the comics, but I don't really think it matters. Especially because one, I guess the creator did it for the show, but also like, okay. If something's good, I don't care if they, I mean, yeah, alright, it's still the same characters. Oh, they changed the race. Like, I don't give a shit about that. Unless, like, I guess if it would be like, here's a story about, like, Irish people and they just replace them with, I don't know, something else, or un-Irish, or, you know, I don't know, whatever race, just insert here. Like, unless it's like, that's the point of your fucking story. I guess. But yeah, whatever. You change the character, fine. Person did it. It runs great. It made some good memes. Because the internet loves the memes. The memes, as somebody I know used to say. And I'm like, what? Meme? But it's pretty... It's great. I love my superhero stuff, whether it's good or bad. Well, especially if it's good. It's bad, not as much. But Invincible was something that was very shocking on how I knew nothing about it, and it's pretty great. And clearly modeled to take the piss out of some of DC and Marvel. A little bit. Not as a show, like as a comic in general, because I don't think the show does anything the comics don't do. But Invincible is great. It's not legendary. So yeah, and now get to the big one for me, which took up like 4 fucking months, or something like that. I don't know. It was a long time. That is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. JoJo's isn't any of these. Let's be honest. JoJo is a lifestyle. JoJo is about I guess memes. It's about culture. It's about family. It's about love. It's about fighting. It's about yelling. It's about poses. It's about questioning your sexuality. And more importantly, it's still going now. And it's the 30th. Is it this year or next year's the 35th anniversary of JoJo? I think it's next year. 35th anniversary of JoJo. It's great. Some seasons, I'll mess around with this later, are way better than others. Season 1, I actually quit watching the first episode repeatedly, and I mean I watch everything dubbed. Well, if I can. If not, then that's fine. I just speak English, so it makes sense. But season 1, like the first episode, I'm like, man, this art style, and it's so like, it's not like self-aware. It's so like into itself. Like Speedwagon, JoJo, like they're all just die-hard, like dead set into it. And for some reason that just took me off because I knew nothing about JoJo other than just people liked it and apparently there were memes. And then toward the end of certain episodes, I'm like, holy shit, that's actually, it was like the first episode. It's like to be continued. I'm like, oh my god, I get it. First season was okay. And I'm just going to refer to seasons, or I'm going to just say part 1, 2, whatever. Part 2, Battle Tendency, which I'm using my thumbnail because that was cool, is really great. And I'm surprised they kill off characters and they have the balls to do that. And again, I know it's based off the manga that's really good. but the show just keeps getting better. My hot take for JoJo is I think Stardust Crusader sucks. Kind of. The beginning is really strong. There's so much filler because it's so long, and some of the filler I just hated. It's like, here's the thing where Polnareff's turned into a baby, and then like kind of ish molested, but then molest like some woman, and wait, what? We're like, really? And Kakyoin? I'm like, no, this is dumb, and also unnecessary to plot, and it's just part 3. Stardust Crusaders is so long that until you get toward like the last 8 to 10 episodes are unskippable. The beginning's unskippable, and there's a little bit between there, but there's like molesting ape going after a young girl, which doesn't really serve anything at all. There's random submarine stuff, but Stardust Crusaders ends so great, and it really does. Like, that's why I said, like, episode 10, 8 on, whenever I'm debating whether or not it's the gambling, like 2 episodes. Actually, I'd probably say there, which then go into like Pet Shop. From then on, it's a really great ride. X animation acted fine. Part 4 is really good. It's really solid. Kira as a villain is like, I think, is he better than Dio? Yeah, because Dio's just kind of mustache twirling. But Dio has charisma. Kira is awesome. And part 4, I like that the main character is actually, Josuke is actually kind of in focus instead of Jotaro was kind of not a focus for a long time in part 3, which is also just really long. Man, is it long. And what I don't like is like, and then Hamon is never talked about again. But all of that accumulates into part 5, which, the songs are banger, the music's banger, the theme's amazing. And it's, just part 5 overall is pretty phenomenal. First episode's definitely the most compelling out of all the first episodes. It has heart and style and like sex appeal like none of the others do. The acting is great. It doesn't really linger. The one thing about part 5 that sucks is Diavolo's stand. No nose, but that's also part of the meme. It's like a video editor, I guess, but it's kind of shittily explained repeatedly. But oh well. And right now is part 6 with Jolene, which is pretty where it stopped, because I actually read part of the manga for part 6, and I then watched the anime episodes that came out. So I watched what I've seen or what I've read, and then post that. And I think JoJo is really just because of the music and acting and everything. I really think it's just an anime show for me. Because watching over the episodes, I already knew. I'm like, okay, like it's hitting these scenes. It censored one thing, but okay. With like calling somebody a name, but everything else, I'm like, I'd rather just watch it. But it's great. Where do I link? Is all of JoJo better than Beastars? I didn't feel compelled to binge JoJo until like the last episodes of seasons. Is it better than Heaven's Feel? You're comparing a movie to a series. Well, first, is it better than Demon Slayer? Yes. Goblin Slayer? Yes. Castlevania Ava? Yes. It's better than Heaven's Feel for me. I don't know. Yeah, you don't have to. Your opinion's wrong, it's fine. And I love you dearly. And are you in queue? Because I think I might have been kicked out, but I don't want to like touch my screen. I said I love you. Why are you telling me to die? I love you. How are you in already? Anyways. So is JoJo better than Heaven's Feel? Style-wise, it is. I'm going to say it is for one simple reason. You don't need to watch anything else outside of JoJo to understand the ending. Where in Heaven's Feel, you do. You need to know Karno Kyokai. Next up is a show that could be great, but it's definitely the best of the solid shows, and that's Cabaneri. Cabaneri, the Iron Fortress, is recommended. It was really fun, but the ending was really weird. Well, not really weird. It was just like, okay, here's a big bad out of nowhere in this survival train thing. Okay. But then I watched the movie. The movie makes the series phenomenal. Or at least a lot better. Because the movie goes back to its roots and has a really heartwarming ending that makes you want more, and the character is really good, and I really liked it. Oh, do you think there was a mass DC? Oh no. So even though the movie kind of redeems it, Dan's kind of okay. Of the original series. So I'm just putting it as a solid show. It's solid. Did I enjoy it more than Ava? Like up there? Yeah, but I mean Ava's up there just because the last two movies are really good. Especially the last one. Cabaneri ending of the series sucked. Ish. Kinda. But the movie's great. It makes it better, so it's solid. Something that's also solid that is borderline terrible is Kakurugi. Kakurugi had great art style. I love the eyes. I actually like some of the games that they did, but it's also super nonsensical to ended both seasons because they don't know if it was going to get continued kind of inoffensively. So like there's no like cliffhanger. It's like, okay, can't continue, cannot. And I really like the high stakes that it went into for just like antis and how like wild characters got full of themselves. That was really good. But you know, like it wasn't going to be like, oh, well, she'll just be fucked. That's her show. No, Ava's not better than Darling in the Franxx. You wish. So it just goes there. Kakurugi was fine. Actually, is it better than... Actually, no. Because I didn't know that much about Dota. And I still liked it a lot. Kakurugi, I mean, I feel like I could have just not watched it and it would still been fine. But it's like, oh man, here's a game where people will die. It's like, alright, well, you're not going to kill anybody because it's like this kind of show. And then next is Konosuba, which is pretty fucking great, / legendary. I'm going to put it here for now. Alright, cool. It's like I guess scroll. Comedy's really hard to do. So it's good art. And I guess Sarameeves. Konosuba nails all that. It's really funny. It's really inappropriate. And pretty brilliant in how it does humor. I want to have more of it. The movie's awesome. And I love it dearly. There's like really no huge like plot or music going on, but it's so funny and endearing. But is it legendary? Is Konosuba legendary? I don't think so. I think it's just really great. Definitely bingeable. But I don't think you could... Like, what's a legendary comedy that really stands out? I mean, like, for things like I can think of, like, Wedding Crashers. I think that was pretty legendary. You got people who love horror comedies like Caddyshack or shit like that. And they don't have, like, big banger music scores, and it's just really... It's just consistently funny. Konosuba can be argued to be up there. The thing with Konosuba is it's not done. Is Konosuba ever done? I think it's still going. I know they're doing another season for it. You know what? You don't need to have all this banger stuff in order to be up there. Konosuba is legendary. It's hysterical. I loved it. And that's where it goes. Is it better than Arcane? No. A show that I didn't give up on that is terrible is Pacific Rim: The Black. It wasn't that many episodes. It was okay. It's pretty bad. It's not solid. I like Pacific Rim. I think them focusing on some random bullshit was a bad direction for the show. Main characters were fine. It's not solid. It's not good. Not terrible might be too strong a language, but it's not good. And thankfully, I can't remember when I watched that to when I watched like Dota and fuck, what was the other thing, like Castlevania. I think I watched them before. But it's not good. So that's where it goes. Okay. This has been fun. Like, I've watched a lot this year. And this is just anime, because I've watched other shit, but... Readjust myself. And now we're wrapping up. Except there's a show... Oh, no, there it is. Okay. My phone's blowing up. Okay. Next up, ReZero. ReZero I watched from the beginning, where my brother was like, no, it's terrible, don't watch it. Why would you ever watch this? Blah, blah, blah. And it was awesome. I also didn't know that ReZero at the beginning was... or when I watched it, had like a director's cut, which put episodes together. So I was like, wow, all these episodes are really fucking long. But I also started watching it because I know that the season was going. Also, I clearly use a picture of Rem and Subaru because Rem is best girl, and you can't argue with that. The show literally has an episode saying Rem is best girl, no really, and the show never recovers from that because it can't, because Rem is best girl. I don't know what else you can possibly say. But it's a great story about depression, overcoming stuff, falling in love with Rem. And the second season, I don't know if it's because I caught up and I was watching it when it came out for the past few episodes, or the last few episodes it had from the second season. Like, I don't know, maybe... I think I might have watched half the season as it was coming out, which was like a first. But it seemed really slow and really drawn out. But it ended strong and it was fine. I think I would think more highly of it if I watched it when it was all out together. I don't know if they announced they're doing a third season or not. I hope so. It's really good. I like ReZero. I like the characters. Oh my god, it's brutal as fuck. Music's good. It doesn't hit legendary for me. Despite how much I love the story, I think in terms of like dealing with those kind of issues, I mean, Attack on Titan is just an epic story. I think Darling in the Franxx tackled that stuff a lot better. Arcane definitely handled that stuff better. Konosuba is not that kind of show. So is it better than Beastars? Which, I mean, if I gave this like another year, but that's why it's this year's thing of what I've watched. Beastars is, I think it's gonna be done next year, the final season, or maybe whenever that comes out. I don't know. I'm gonna say it is just because I was very compelled to keep going in ReZero, and I loved it a lot. Beastars was as well, but not to the same like feverish extent, because I didn't even realize that those episodes were like a director's cut until I like finished the whole first season. I was like, dude, that was amazing. Because it was. Next up is, I mean, I had to watch something Sword Art because I haven't seen War of Underworld yet. And I want to rewatch everything, and I knew that was going to take a long time. Not as long as watching all of JoJo. That's Sword Art Online Ordinal Scale, because they put that movie up, and I never watched it, and I think it's pretty great. It focused as a movie. It's before Alicization. It focuses on characters that you like in the real world and their relationships, and there's other stuff too. And okay, fine, you got combat and people going like, oh, you can't do the same shit in VR, and it kind of breaks the rules. All right, fine, I get that. It's Sword Art, but it's fun, and I liked it. It also had a really good soundtrack, which was surprising. I want to watch Progressive, and I don't know if it's still in theaters, but I kind of want to go see it. But I just love Sword Art stuff, man. It's just fun. And I like the relationship between all the characters. And the one thing about the movie I really did like, which was funny, is we're gonna sideline Asuna. Okay, fine. You know what? We're gonna have a moment Kirito with Shinan, because people ship that. I just thought that was really funny. Is it better than how Ava ended up? No, the last episode of Ava was really satisfying and good, and I like the creative risk they took. This is just more of the same, and I really liked it. It was really great. So yeah. Next, which is clearly anime in all sense of the word, because it was done. If you want to go the fucking literal definition, it's only in Japan. There you go. Star Wars Visions. Star Wars Visions was a surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one. I tweeted about it a lot because there were 2 episodes in particular that were far and away legendary tier, and I want more of. Beyond, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Those were La Pinocho, which was a thing between sisters, and one's a fuzzy bunny girl, and it's adorable, and the art style's great. And the other was The Village Bride, which also has an environmental message, but it's also very heartfelt. It's warming. The art's awesome, and I fucking loved watching it, and it was great. The character Village Bride is great. The Jedi. The 3rd episode, which would be just below that, is The Ninth Jedi, which was very shocking and pretty fucking awesome. There were 2 I hated, and they were from the same studio, Envisions, and those were the fucking like Mega Man ones, and whatever the last one was, I hated it. The rock and roll one's okay. The 2 from Trigger should have been longer. And that's the thing, like Village Bride and I mean, the first episode was good too, but like Village Bride and La Pinocho, I mean, they're like, all the episodes were like 14 to 18 minutes maybe, and they just grabbed you. But then you have the Studio Trigger ones, like the twins, where it's so fast that it's not even like you can't breathe. Like you don't care. It's just all just explosions in your face. And cool, and then it's over. You're like, okay, well that was it was like a roller coaster. It's like, here's the roller coaster and it's done. What just happened? It's cool. I wish it was longer so I could enjoy it more and take it in. But those top three episodes with La Pinocho, Village Bride, which I put at the same tier. I'd probably say Village Bride's a little better. But they're both, I mean, they focus on different aspects. And then Ninth Jedi, I'll make it great. It's definitely better than those. So I'm just going to judge it based on that. So overall, it's pretty good. Better than Goblin Slayer. I'm just going to put it there. I don't think overall it's better, because Demon Slayer is just great in everything it does. Not every episode of this was great, but it was also not every studio was the same. So if I could parse out this in episodes, it'd be all over the place. Like I'd have something in everything. Well, that's not how I said it. And 2 more left, which shouldn't be that bad. Marvel What If. Marvel What If was great. It's not anime, I guess. Cell shaded. Actually, I'd put it up here. They cut an episode from the season with Gamora that they're just going to finish in time. And the reason why it came out in time is because somebody in What If is in the Doctor Strange trailer. And that's all I have to say about that. But some episodes are really fucking good. Some were just kind of okay, but they all came around at the end. It was an awesome series. Is it anime? No. Maybe. I don't know. I don't care. I watch it. It was animated. It's great. And there's going to be more seasons. Is it as good as Invincible? No. Is it as good as The Long Halloween? No. But it's damn good. And last but not least is something of, is it animated? Is it not? And that is Witcher the White Wolf. Or Nightmare of the Wolf, whatever. Going over Vesemir. And it's pretty solid. It's a great show. Or great movie. Love Witcher, love lore. It was brutal. And he starts off like the very, like, less than 5 minutes. Like, it just kills a whole bunch of kids and people. And it's like, oh, yep, they're monsters. And here you go. There's some logic flaws in the movie, but it's pretty great ride. But I think that's it. I think this concludes how I feel about all the shows this year. Overall, it was really fun. I watched a lot. JoJo took up a lot of my time, because I would have got through a lot more series. There's some series I definitely want to get to, and some that I would have watched that were still airing if I just wasn't caught up with real life stuff. One of those, like Tank.op. That looks cool. Not just because the main heroine has 0 2 eyes, but also I like music. Yeah. I think this is how would I want to change anything? Let me see. Attack on Titan's legendary. I mean, it's the most. It deserves its own tier. It's so good, and I can't wait to see how it ends. Johnny Franks is legendary beyond all measure. Arcane, same way. I don't know if that's just because of recency bias, but I really don't think so. Because I mean, I'm still listening to the soundtrack. It's awesome, and deserves awards. Konosuba is consistently funny. It's hysterical. Charming characters, and the movie's great. Great tier. Re:Zero. Very dark theme. I mean, that and fucking Beastars, both heavy hitters. Beastars, they both have good music and intro, is fine. I really am split on putting Beastars before Re:Zero, because Re:Zero did slow down for some parts, but I really liked Re:Zero a lot. I mean, I love Beastars. Beastars is like, once it's out, man, like it's like a high. I'm just burning through. But I felt that way with Re:Zero, so very good. JoJo is its own magical world of insanity, and it's fucking long. And if I had to break up seasons or parts, I mean, it'd be like part 5, 2, 4, 3, and then 1. Stardust Crusaders is way too long. Except you should do like the beginning / end of Stardust, because that would be. I mean, that would be above Part 4 then. But Stardust Crusaders is so much garbage that I didn't like. Just because it doesn't really respect your time, it's just kind of there to be there. Granted, and one of my favorite episodes is I would consider unnecessary, and that's what the noob is, because that's hysterical. Because I just thought the sword possessing people was funny, and the way it ends is even funnier. Heavens feels really good, but it relies on you knowing Kurno Kyokai for enjoy the end. Demon Slayer is just solid, but really beautiful. Star Wars Visions had 2 really bad episodes. 2 phenomenal, amazing episodes. 1 that's just phenomenal. And the other ones are really good too. But I have those 3 standout ones. Goblin Slayer is great. Castlevania is great and they're great. The first 2 Ava movies are not good. The first one's like bad. The second one's okay. 3 is really good. And then 4 is phenomenal. That's because they were given room to breathe. And also it's just a lot better. But 3 and 4 are great. Actually, the way 2 ends is really good too. So, and then Sword Art Online Ordinal Scale focuses on characters, which I like. Non-anime greats. Invincible is awesome and it really surprised me. Batman Long Halloween is a return to form. Posted other animated stuff recently, and it's how stories like that should be told. Not necessarily in over 2 movies, but at least 1 really long one. Marvel What If is very good. Ties in the MCU. Definitely ties in the MCU now. There's no question. It ties in the MCU. Pretty heavily. And it's really cool. And really fun. And there are some things I am shocked that Disney let through. Like, you kill off these characters in like brutal ways. And then you're like, well, granted, Daredevil's done by Marvel. Or Netflix. So getting that would be, I'm sure, a nice paycheck. But it's like, I'm shocked at some things in What If. What If was awesome. Then Nightmare of the Wolf was a very good movie. Like The Witcher, you don't need to know anything about The Witcher to appreciate it. It's just more dark fantasy. But it's very good. Solid shows. Cabaneri is definitely solid. That the movie makes a lot better. Bo Fury is forgettable, but it's fun, fun and cute, slice of life, VR thing that you're just having fun. Devil's Part-Timer is pretty much the same way, but in the reverse isekai that ends really fun. I actually think Devil's Part-Timer is better, so I'm gonna do that. Dota is pretty good. Just fantasy, it's pretty great. Kakuri was enjoyable. And that's all I can really say about Kakuri. I like the art. Some of the games were interesting. Did really nothing for character growth at all, or an overall story, kind of. But it was enjoyable. So it was like on the verge. It then gave up on Terrible. Pacific Rim, the Black, is awful. And granted, it didn't start off awful. But what they focused on with like this weird guy in the desert, it's like, okay. And like some kid. Alright. And then High Rise Invasion I gave up on. It is garbage. And that keeps you enticed by fan service. But anyways, that's it. I talked about this a lot longer than I thought I would. That is almost an hour and a half. So hope you enjoyed. I will post this to my Twitter. I'm gonna try to figure out how to break this out, put it to YouTube. That'll be first. And Yeah, feel free to disagree or not. I don't care. I had a fun time watching these shows this year. What actually came out this year in this list? The Konosuba movie did. Came out in January. Arcane. Attack on Titan Season 4 Part 1. Second season of Beastars. ReZero. JoJo Part 6. Heaven's Feel came out on DVD and digital. Demon Slayer. Star Wars Visions. I don't think Goblin Slayer movie came out this year. Castlevania came out this year. The last Ava movie came out this year. Invincible came out this year. Long Halloween. What If? I don't know if Nightmare of the Wolf did. Devil's Part-Timer got a second season announced out of, like, I guess 8 years later. I think Buffier is getting one. I don't know if Dota came out this year or not. Or that, but yeah, it's actually quite a bit this year. That's cool. Anyways, it was a good experiment. It was a good experience. If I do this again next year, I might keep a track, but I probably won't do the same. I mean, I hit a lot of big bangers this year that just got me, and some of it would be repetitive. Like, okay, there's more. There's more Demon Slayer. Attack on Titan ended. Okay, like, all right. So, yeah. Feel free to leave comments. It's all fun. At the end of the day, like what you like, love what you love. It's all you can ask, especially in this crazy world. Have a good one. Happy New Year.